leaders, dreamers, changemakers, welcome to the Vibrant Living Podcast. Here, limitations shatter and potential explodes into a kaleidoscope of possibility. At the helm, Donna Tashjian, life mastery coach and founder of Vibrant Living International, weaves godly wisdom and Christian perspective into every step, empowering you to discover your purpose and light up your world. Here is your host, Donna.
Well, my friends, I am glad to welcome you to a special episode of the Vibrant Living Podcast. And I have with me Andre today. I met him a while ago, and I knew that I had to have him on my podcast because of the scope of wisdom and the amount of information, the research, the studies that he has done to help relationships succeed. And so, Andre, welcome. Where are you in the world? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, good morning, Donna. I think it's good afternoon for you now, but it's still,
is.
I'm in Los Angeles, California. So I'm a relationship coach. I'm a NLP practitioner. For people who don't know, that's neurolinguistic programming. It's a way those are the tools that I use to help people release their trauma from their past. Because I can't get anybody in a healthy relationship until you release all the baggage that comes with childhood and past relationships. So, NLP practitioners, I'm also an educator of effective communication strategies. Ooh, big title. But most of the trouble in life, seriously, between all of us, men and women, men, women, women, but the man-woman dance or communication is filtered differently, so tends to be more complicated. But whether it's your personal relationship or your relationship with your family, or your families, or business relationship, people you work with, the communication is always one of the biggest things people collide into. So
absolutely. I totally agree with that. And communication inside a marriage or that type of relationship is a whole minefield. I remember, I'm going to tell you a funny story and then I'll ask you to jump off from there. Okay. My husband and I have been married 40 years. So that's the framework I'm coming to. I was extremely insecure. I had trauma in my childhood. So all of that was bringing me into this. And so we had this disagreement that we needed to talk about. My husband retreated. He went to bed and he laid down. He goes, "I'm taking a nap. I'm not talking about this." And I went, "Yes, we are talking about this." So I went in the room. I flipped the light on. I sat on top of his chest and said, we're talking about this. I have to tell you that this did not work well.
Yeah, that was my first question. Like, how'd that go?
I never tried it again.
Right. Oh my goodness.
But what goes on? Why do we have so much trouble talking to each other when we're, like you said before, we're both talking English?
Right. No, there's a huge, because we actually have two different filters on the way we listen and speak, and we don't understand that because we speak English. You're looking at me, you hear the words that come out of my mouth. I'm communicating, but I always say communication is not about the words that you use. It's about the results that you get. So if you think you're communicating and you're getting some pushback, if you're getting some attitude, you get yourself shut down, there's probably an attack sensor feeling from the other side, right? People don't back off or try to ignore you if you're inviting them in a conversation, inviting them in a negotiation. So often we attack each other, and we stomp our feet, and we need to talk about this now, like you just said, right? To a man, right? First of all, no, we don't need to talk about this just now. I've been working all day, and we're going to do this later, right? On my time. It's very frustrating for a woman, right? Because now you're stuck with those feelings. So we got to get this done now, right? So again, if you're going to lean on him, you have to understand that men are natural warriors. If you're going to lean on a warrior, he's going to push back. And that's just like the nature of the beast. So that doesn't work. We know it doesn't work, right? And to insist, to push, to demand, to command a woman to a man, his resistance is instant. Because you're taking away his choice. And part of being masculine is to be at choice. I decide, I pick, I'll tell you when it's a good time. Let's make an appointment. Yes. But if you take my choice away, stall, right? If you notice, like, and seriously, this is gonna sound crazy, but I want you ladies to pay attention or to look into it a little bit because it's gonna sound insane. But you might have noticed that if you ask of man, your man especially, the one that there's most energy with, right? That's part of the calibration of emotion is much higher in love dynamics. But if you ask a man, your man, for more, better, or different anything, have you noticed what happens? You get less.
Yep.
Now, is that because he's a jerk? Mm-mm. It's because he's a man. And what happens there, the mechanism that men can really, you can't explain this, a reaction, right? If you talk to me this way, I'll respond to you that way type thing, right? We both do this. But to a man, a demand and ask for better, I need you to spend more time with us. The kids are missing you and you're always working. I need you to work that out. That's a command. A warrior does not respond to command, right? So you ask for more time, you get less time. You ask for more attention, you get less attention. Not because it's a jerk, it's because you're commanding him. And then if the guy is masculine naturally at all, it's different with boys because it's different types of men. But a natural masculine man will resist that. You'll get less, not because he's passive aggressive, because it's a jerk. Because this is not how you're taking his choice away. You're trying to make him. Won't work. So the idea is to invite him, invite him, as opposed to telling him.
So give me
One
an
is
example.
okay. Very simple. Let's see. And I'm trying to give you one that's
You
so
could use the one you just had where I need
yeah.
you to spend more time with me and the kids.
Right, right. So it's actually a factual thing that happened to one of my clients. This guy was working a full-time job. Had a business with a friend. So he's working like 14-hour days, right? Often on the weekend. They had a big house here in LA, and that's the lifestyle that he created for his family. That's the lifestyle he said, he decided that's appropriate for his family, his wife and his kids. She was a stay-at-home mom. That's a conversation they had. He was very adamant about he wanted her to be present and raise her kids as opposed to the school, the right.
Right.
So beautiful, beautiful, like beautiful frame, beautiful, kind of traditional. But within years of him working these crazy hours, she started feeling abandoned and lonely, right? Which is normal. The feminine needs connection to be good and happy and safe, feeling safe, right? And the kids are missing daddy because he's always gone. And even on the weekend, and when he's present, he's kind of tired. So he's not really
Mhm.
there, right? So as years went on, she became really kind of feeling that he likes to work much more than he likes us. Like he loves his work more than us. That's how became to be seen. And so she went at him one day and said, this needs to change. The kids miss us. I miss you. You work all the time. You don't seem to be caring about us at all because when you're here, you're kind of blocked by
Mhm.
all this stuff. And he lost his mind. He completely lost his mind because now she's telling him he's doing everything wrong. And he's like, do you think I want to work this much? Do you think this is fun for me? Do you think that 14, 15-hour days are interesting to me? I do this for us. I do this for you. I do this for the kids. I do this for this house and the lifestyle that I created.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So he's completely insulted in all of his effort turning into blame, right?
Right.
And this is one of the ways people collide. So the conversation became, she's unhappy and he's doing everything he thinks is right. So the way she would approach him differently, instead of him losing his mind, right? Because he lost his mind. He lost his mind. It was an attack, blaming him for being this man. It would have been something like, I call it the 5 steps, right? You want to make an appointment. Very, very important. If you're going to talk to a man, we're focused. Whatever we're focused on becomes what we're focused on. So if I'm focused on the TV or I'm sitting here on the computer researching something and you're going to come at me and start talking,
Yeah, it doesn't work.
it doesn't work, right? So
Mm.
again, you have to have my attention for me to really kind of be with you and have a conversation and an adjustment. So you have to make an appointment. Hey, babe, there's something I'd like to run by you. Never say we need to talk. Well, you need to talk, right? His fists are going to go up. He's ready to defend himself, right? So that don't. That's what. So I teach Manglish. I teach the ladies Manglish, the vocabulary that makes men come forward and want to adjust and adapt and change, as opposed to get their fists up and resisting because they feel attacked, right? So you have to make an appointment to have his focus. I'd like to run something by you. Not we need to talk. I'd like to run something by you, or can I check something with you? That makes me curious.
Mm-hmm.
And when my wife does it to me, I know exactly something is coming, but there's not an attack, right? So, can I something about, hopefully today, right? And you'll say, well, let me just finish the show. Let me just go to the store. Let me finish this. What I'll be maybe this afternoon at 2, right? Thank you. That would be great. Because then he will be focused. He'll show up at 2 and go, so what's up? Again,
Mm-hmm.
open, not guarded, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's up? So make an appointment is essential if you want him to hear you. Because unless he's focused on you, he's not recording. Anyway, so make an appointment. The next step I call it make him right. Make him right. So which this woman would have said that would have worked this thing better is that, babe, I know thank you so much for everything you do. You work like a dog. You work long, long hours. I really appreciate how everything that you do to keep us like, safe in the world, blah, blah, right? That's making him right. That's number
Mm-hmm.
2. Number 3 is state the problem. However, I have to tell you, like, you're always gone, and I miss you, and the kids miss you, and it feels like you're more interested in work than us, and it's really hurtful and kind of lonely, and all the feelings that come with that, right? Again,
Mm-hmm.
she's not attacking him, she's telling what she's going through,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids. So, however, it's number 3. Number 4 is ask for correction or let him come up with the solutions even better. If you could find a way to maybe spend more time with us, maybe on the weekend, I know it's probably easier, would be
Mm-hmm.
amazing for me and the kids. And, that's the whole reason why we're this family is for us to really kind of spend time together. Oh, right? That's respectful. That's not an attack. She's talking about
Mm-hmm.
and then number 5 is very important. We speak to men, to women as well, but men like contracts. Men like, right? So if you say at the end, what do you think about what I'm asking, what I'm saying? That requires him to answer. Because you might say that if you do the first 4 without number 5, often he'll go in his head going, okay, 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 but he may not say anything. He may just be in his head trying to fix it. He may go away for 3 days and try to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out, right? So what do you think about my saying is requires him to answer you, and then you get a sort of like, well, I'm just working like a dog here because, and yeah, I know, babe, I know you're amazing. I appreciate it. We miss you. I miss you. It's just maybe we need to change our lifestyle, because it's kind of hurtful for us, and I don't think it's good for you either to work this hard. And so that would have been a way to invite him for correction. By the way, this is exactly what I taught her. She did, and guess what happened? He actually realized that his lifestyle idea of keeping his family in this big house was quite ridiculous because he didn't enjoy it because he was never there. They didn't
Right.
need that much. And so they downsized the whole thing. So he had to let
Yeah.
go of his part-time job with his buddy or his part-time business on the side, adjust it, right? But that's an invitation as opposed
Right.
to, I'm sick of the fact you're never here, the kids miss you, this has to stop. Bomb. Ooh, how's that? So that's an example. How you like it?
Oh, that could change everything in
I,
communication. And no one likes to be attacked. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we
But
typically do it because we're frustrated and we waited
yes,
too long, and then we
and we
bark.
waited too long. Yes.
And wait too long, we bark, and now we're emotional and edgy and angry.
Yeah.
That's never going to work, right?
Right.
Ever. So
Right.
humans, we're funny that way.
Yeah.
We wait too
Well,
long.
one of the best pieces of advice I got and for our marriage was when you have a problem, let's say I crashed the car.
Yep.
And so what do you mean you crashed the car? Our insurance are going to go up. And the problem is the car is damaged. Okay. And so instead of coming, like you put the problem in the middle of the table and you're on either side and you're like at each other and it's like,
Yep.
and then I'm defensive and all the things. And so instead, it was at a marriage seminar. It's like, get on the
Yeah.
same side of the table, physically do it.
Right.
Like sit on the same side of the table and
Yep.
put the problem on the middle of the table, and you're
Yep.
on the same type to tail. The problem is the car is broken. So what are we going to do about it? And it
Right.
becomes a we thing instead of a you thing.
Right.
And that was one of my favorites.
So what happened is if you stand in front of a man, right, and things are intense, that's a confrontation.
Hmm.
Like energetically, it's teeth to teeth, right? Like looking in each other's eyes. It's a confrontation. That's how men fight. But how do men work together in cooperation?
Hmm.
Shoulder to shoulder, side by
Hmm.
side. But the more you understand these things, especially with men and women, because we're so completely different, instead of making each other wrong, we can get somewhere in the middle, right? His
Right,
way, her way, me in the middle. I call it the sweet spot. Like
right.
if you do it his way, it's not going to work for you. If you do your way, it's not going to work. We have to meet in the middle, and that's really the difference. We embrace our differences and negotiate them.
Yeah.
I could
And
do this all day
it's a
long.
beautiful thing when it's done
It
right.
is. It
It's a
absolutely
beautiful
is.
thing. I know you have tons of resources
Yeah.
and workshops and all kinds of things. What are some things that if people wanted to get more information about you, that they could reach out and do that?
So I'm all the social media under my website is projectequinox.net. Now, the equinox is the perfect balance between day and night. I thought it was clever, right? Masculine and feminine. I thought. I know. So you can research under Project Equinox, find the website or my name under Parody on Google. You'll find everything. I'm all the platforms. Um, but I have all different programs to offer. But I do a workshop once a month. Every quarter we do typically a live event. So if you're local in Los Angeles, but I also have two gifts for you listeners, if that's okay.
Okay,
Is that cool?
awesome.
So I do a lot of podcasting. We talked about this before I got on, right? And my mission is actually to spread this to the masses. My God mission is it's not my business. It's like it has to be
Yeah.
spread out, bring hope to the world. Like we know it doesn't work right now out there. It's very confusing, but we don't know why. So there's a way to reframe all that's my work. So I do podcasts to spread, to spread, to spread.
Mhm.
And I notice when I do podcasts, I usually have my own as well, is there's two type of listeners, which is I find interesting. So one type of listener, and I'll let the listeners kind of qualify themselves in either category. One type of listeners are people who are sort of like, what is this thing with men and masculine and feminine? And the frustration is kicking in, and they're right, and they're looking for information.
Mhm.
So if you're an information seeker, I'll send you directly to my email. If you go to Andre Coaching, the number one at Gmail, AndreCoachin, the number one, and in the subject box you write irresistible book. Ladies, this is for the ladies, by the way. I will send you a copy of my little workbook. It's 30 pages. It's called The Five Feminine Qualities High Value Men Find Absolutely Irresistible. Ladies, I sell this on my website. I'll get it to you for free if you just email me. Again, it's an ebook, but it's what this is my work with men, by the way. This is men talking. It's not me, but it's in me kind of dissecting with them the
Mhm.
five things they find irresistible. Is fantastic. So come and get it. Audio Coaching One at Gmail. Irresistible book. The second gift I have, some listeners are more like, okay, so this resonates, interesting, right? And if you, the second type, more of an action taker, a little courageous, maybe, I don't know. Andre Coaching One at Gmail, and in the box, write talk now. And what I'll do is I'll send you a link to my calendar. You find a space that's open, and we'll have a conversation like you and I are having right now. It's not intimidating. I'm this guy. It's the idea is to figure out where you struggle, where you're struggling. Most of us, as you know, we get stuck in a loop, right? If you have a belief that men are all terrible people, as a woman, you will only find terrible men, right? That
Yes,
will
that is
confirm
true.
you, right? So our psychology really gets in our way here. We don't even know why. We keep changing partners. So I say if you get the same results in that very call, right? In 15 minutes, we get right to source. Like it's fantastic. And when you understand that the loop that you're stuck in is not because you're crazy, because you're not worthy, because you're not lovable, it's your past. And it's believed it's just your past sort of driving your subconscious driving your belief system about yourself that you created in the past. So
Yeah.
in that call, literally, you'll find out that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're a product of your past, which means it's easy to fix, NLP. And then from there, what's the dream? Do you want babies and families? Do you want a long-term relationship and without necessarily marriage? Like, what is a dream? And then we'll talk about there's different ways to jump in and get involved and really get going into decoding all this for yourself if you're struggling with a relationship. So it's
Wonderful.
those are my gifts.
Wonderful. So
Thank
a
you.
conversation and a book that has all of the resources and the breakthrough that we need to be able to have relationships. I know it's important to men, but women thrive on healthy relationships. And when they're not, it really hits our self-esteem, which increases the trauma, et cetera, that we go through. So I want to thank you, Andre, for the work you're doing and the God call to do this, because it isn't easy and you're dealing with a lot of emotions and all of that on both sides of the table. And even though we're going to get them on the same side of the table, but you get it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming and sharing your wisdom and all of this. And we will put all of those links in the show notes so that you can grab those free gifts as well. Again, thank you for being here.
You're very welcome. And I'm going to say, if you want both gifts, get both gifts and ask me questions. I'm like right here for it. This is my mission. So thank you.
Awesome. You are welcome. Thank you.
I hope your soul feels ignited, your spirit nourished, and your mind buzzing with possibilities. Share this with a friend who needs a dose of vibrant living. Tag us on hashtag Vibrant Living Podcast and tell us your biggest takeaway. For more support, clarity, and wisdom, visit Donna at iVibrantLiving.com. See you soon.